In today's video, we are going to be learning the different tips to learn French very fast. Number one tip is focus more on everyday use grammar. You need to focus on what matters most. Everyday use vocabulary, those vocabulary that are used on a daily basis. You don't need to cram the whole French dictionary. You just need to focus on the things that matters most, which are those vocabulary that you listen to every day. Those everyday used vocabulary are more significant and more important for you to learn French very fast. Don't waste your time cramming vocabulary in the dictionary, in French dictionary. Focus on the most important ones, which is the everyday use phrases. Those phrases that are used on a daily basis, like phrases you hear on a daily basis, like things you do on a daily basis, things you say on a daily basis. If you want to communicate, if you want to talk about yourself, if you want to give instruction or express yourself, those daily used phrases are more important for you to learn in French. Don't spend time or don't waste your time on phrases that you hear once in a while, once in a blue moon. You don't hear those kind of phrases that are just in the dictionary, but you don't hear them often. Leave those ones first. Focus more on the ones you need for day-to-day conversations. There are many expressions that are used on a daily basis in French language. So focus more on those ones to master them properly. Then, if you do that, you will learn French very fast. If only you can focus on those vocabulary that are used on daily basis, trust me, you're going to learn French very fast. The next tip to learn French very fast is focus more on the 80-20 rule. What is 80-20 rule? The 80-20 rule is focus your energy on the 20% of things that are more relevant for you to understand the 80% of things. Those vocabulary, those grammar, those expressions that are very important are the 20% that you need to understand the 80% of French language. If you can understand the 20%, which is very important, those are the vocabulary you listen to on a daily basis. Those are the 20%. The 20% are those grammar, vocabulary, expressions you hear every day. You hear people, French speakers, use every day. Those vocabulary they use every day. If you can focus on those ones, those are the 20% that will enable you to understand the 80% that is not mentioned on a daily basis. Also, focus on connectors. Connectors are used on a daily basis. Examples of connectors in French language are peut-être, which means maybe, peut-être, parce que, donc, alors, même si, cependant. These are French connectors. Just like in English, we have connectors. Each time we want to make expressions in English language, we want to communicate for better understanding, you just have to put a pause. Like you use however, furthermore, even if, also, moreover. Those connectors helps us to make our expressions. So same thing with French. If you can focus more on the connectors. What are the connectors in French? French has so many connectors, like même si, cependant, alors, donc, parce que, à toi moi. Name them, there are many. If you can learn all these connectors in French language, it will be easy for you to understand conversations. So the 80-20 rule states that Focus more on 20% of grammar expressions that are used on a daily basis in order for you to understand the 80% of grammar that are not used on a daily basis. If you can understand the 20%, you're good to go. You definitely understand the 80% that are not used on a daily basis. So focus more on the important things, the relevant things. Focus more on the grammar you need for your business trip in French language. Those business vocabulary, focus more on them. Those travel vocabulary, if you want to travel to a French speaking country, focus more on those vocabulary. Travel vocabulary to a French speaking country. If you want to go for an interview, learn more of interview vocabularies. Don't go and be wasting your energy learning example of things that are not mentioned on a daily basis in French language. Just like although it's important for knowledge, but for you to be able to learn fast, there's some vocabulary in dictionary that we don't always hear on a daily basis. There are a lot of vocabulary, grammar that even in English we don't hear them often. Same thing, likewise French. There are so many vocabulary we don't hear very often. So why not focus on the ones that you know you definitely hear them, or always you hear them all the time, in order for you not to be lost. Once you hear them speak, French speakers speak this, why not make research on those ones that you know you definitely hear them speak, than the ones that you hear once in a blue moon. Those ones are not that important. It's important for knowledge wise, but for you to speak very fast, focus more on things that are, or grammar that are very, very much needed. Focus more on learning French based on context. Don't cram. Learning on context mean, for example, there are some French word that means one thing here, but in another context it means a different thing. So don't cram a particular meaning of word by saying, oh, this French word means this in this place. Oh, that means generally that's what it means. No. Learn based on context. In that context, it could mean this. In another context, it means something else. So the more reason why you need to learn French based on context. Let me give you a typical example of a French word that means something here, and another way it means another thing in another place. For example, Ilia. The word Ilia. Ilia means 2 years ago. Sorry, if you want to say 2 years ago, you say Ilia dozon. Ilia dozon means 2 years ago. So Ilia is used to talk about time, years back. If you want to tell a story about something that has happened years back, you use Ilia, which means years ago. So you saying 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you have to call the number. You have to also mention Ilia. Ilia dozon, 2 years ago. Ilia toison, 3 years ago. Ilia katon, 4 years ago. Now, on that context is when you see Ilia in that context, you know, oh, you're talking about years back in this context. Now, if you see Ilia in another context, Ilia means something else in another context. Ilia means there is. In another context, Ilia means there is. So more reason you don't need to cram French word, because if you cram, you only say, oh, it means this. Ilia means there is. So anytime I see Ilia, that means it means there is. You're going to get it all wrong and you'll get tired. And you'll be like, oh, French is difficult. No, ce n'est pas vrai. French is not difficult. French is very, very interesting. If only you study it, if only you follow it the right way, you learn it the right way. Now, in another context, il y a means there is. In a different context, it means years ago. So more reason why you have to learn French based on context. You don't have to use because it means this thing here. That means that's how it means in every context you see it. Anywhere you see Ilya, it means that. No. Learn it based on context. Another word that means one thing and it means another thing is pendant. Pendant means during. In another context, pendant means for. When talking about time, years back, for means for. So put this into place. You learn French based on context. Don't cram. It's wrong for you to cram French. You don't cram French. Rather, you do proper immersion. Immerse yourself in the language. Learn the language. French is not something that you study in school. You don't study French. Rather, you immerse yourself in the language. You make it part of it. You make it part of you on a daily basis. It's something you immerse yourself in it. Once you immerse yourself, it comes naturally. It's not something you study. It's not something you cram. Now, the next step to learn French very fast is by creating a daily routine. You have to create a daily routine that you follow. You have to discipline yourself to follow that daily routine. French is not something you learn today, then tomorrow you skip, next tomorrow you skip. No, it's wrong. You have to immerse yourself on a daily basis. You have to create a daily routine that you have to follow. Because atomic habits did that. You have to develop a habit. Your habit becomes part of you. So if you make it a habit that, oh, every day I will do more of speaking practice in French. I'll use 30 minutes for speaking practice. I'll also use 30 minutes for writing practice. I'll use 30 minutes for grammar, for listening. Before you know, unconsciously, your subconscious mind, you're getting used to French. You're learning French and you are improving. So you have to make it a daily habit. You don't have to do it like a hobby. If you really want to go far in the language, you have to make sure that you make it part of you on a daily basis. Surround yourself with the language, with French. Be in love with the language. Make it a daily habit. Let it be part of you. Before you know, you even be surprised. You'll be surprised at how far you've gone in the language. The next tip to learn French very fast is by watching movies. Watch movie. Turn all your hobby, your leisure time to French. If you're watching a movie, turn it to French language. Make sure you're watching your movies in French language. Because watching movies in French language helps you to see the practical aspect of the French you've been studying. You see how action takes place. You see how someone asks questions in French. You see how it's being responded. You see it's real, like very real, practical aspect. Also, through movies, you learn new vocabulary. The more you watch movies in French language, you find out that there's so many things that you will learn that you didn't learn in school, or you didn't learn while reading your book in French language. You will learn new vocabulary in movies. So, endeavor to watch more of French movies. Watch movie in the language that you are learning. It will help you. The next tip to learn French very fast is listening to music. If there is any music you love listening to, switch it to French language. Everything you like doing, do it in French language. Everything you love doing in your language, your first language, switch it to French language, because French language is the target. Your target is you want to know this language. So switch everything you do on a daily basis, switch it to French language. Switch your music to French language. You find out that you learn new vocabulary through music. There are so many vocabulary you won't learn in book or through studying French. You learn it through music. Just like English language, while we were growing up, we didn't learn everything in school. We learned most of the vocabulary through music. We learned it through movies. We even learned some through playing games in English language. It helps to build our vocabulary. We learned some through reading books. It helps to improve on our vocabulary. So, turn your music into French language. The next tip is listen to podcasts in French language, listen to news in French language. Now, your favorite podcast, listen to it in French language. Your news station, turn it to French language. You also learn new vocabulary through listening to news in French language. Like I said earlier, it's not every vocabulary you learn in school. You can learn it through news, listening to news, like weather forecast and all of that. You listen to it, you listen to so many new vocabulary. You learn new vocabulary while listening to news in French language. Like I said, turn everything about your daily life into French language. Now, the next tip to learn French very fast is speak. Speak. You don't need to wait for the appropriate time for you to speak. Just speak it. The more you speak it, they said practice makes what? Perfect. If you're learning and you're not practicing, it's wrong. The more you practice, the more you get yourself familiarized with the sound, the vocabulary, the way it sounds. Your subconscious mind gets used to it. So speak it. I know most of you will say, oh, I don't have anybody to speak with. I'm all alone. I don't have French friends to speak with. But you can speak to yourself. For example, if you want to think in French language. Maybe you're alone in your house. If you want to, you want to say to yourself, oh my God, I'm tired today. You could say it in French language. You could say, mon Dieu, je suis fatigué aujourd'hui. You say it to yourself. You speak it. Your subconscious mind, you just say, oh my God, I'm tired today. If you want to say, oh, I'm so hungry, I'm hungry. Even if you don't have anybody to speak it with you, you could say, j'ai faim, I'm hungry. So just speak it. If you want to think in French language. Think in French language. By so doing, before you know, you make French part of you. You make your whole life part of you. You make your whole life about French. And for those of us that are not in a French-speaking environment, these whole tips helps us to immerse ourselves even when we are not in French-speaking environment. Mind you, it's all about interest. Someone that is not even in a French-speaking environment could learn French faster than someone that is even in a French-speaking environment. It's a matter of interest. If you love the language, if you enjoy learning it, you won't even know when you've gone far in language, in knowing French. fall in love with that language. Fall in love with French language. If you can fall in love with French language, I promise you, you'll be fluent in it. You even know when you go far in it. Fall in love with it. Make it a day-to-day habit. Like, oh, I want to be around French. I want to watch movies in French. I want to listen to news in French. I want to turn my whole world into French language. By so doing, before you know, you're perfect in it. The next tip to learn French very fast is by listening a lot. Listen to French audio. You could listen to it slowly, then more faster. The more you listen to it, the more you train your ear to be used to French sounds. Like French speakers, when they speak very fast, right? So the more you listen to French audio, you can use your headset to listen to French audio. Listen to French speakers the way they speak. The more you listen to them speak faster, the more you train your ear to get used to the sound and vocabulary. So even when the French speaker speaks very fast, you'll be able to catch up with whatever they are saying. So on the norms, French speaker speaks very fast. But if you train your ear to be listening every day, listening to it slowly, before you know it, you're used to what they are saying. So listen to podcasts every day. Listen to audio in French language. It will help you. It will also help you in your écoute during your DELF exam. The écoute aspect that has to do with listening, where you have to listen and then you write down what you hear. So you listening to French audio on a daily basis helps to train your ear even before you go for DELF exam. The next step to learn French very fast is by learning both online and real life. So there are some grammar, vocabulary you tend to learn online, and you can also learn it real life. So it's good you join both online and real life. You don't say, oh, because I'm learning real life, so no need of me getting more information on online. No, you have to learn both online and real life. There are so many platforms you can use to support your learning. YouTube is there. You can use YouTube to learn language. You learn language on YouTube. You also learn it real life. You learn it on YouTube for free. You also learn it real life. So you join both real life and online. There are so many platforms you can learn language. You can learn French language. So join both online and real life. Lastly, the next tip to learn French very fast is to be consistent. This is my friendly advice from experience, and take me as your sister, your friend, your loved one. Take this advice from me. Be consistent. Please try as much as possible to be consistent. I know what I'm saying. I'm advising you with love. Try to be consistent with French, because most of the time, the challenges French learners experience is challenge of inconsistency. Atomic habit. Make it a habit that you must practice French every day. I know it's not easy. Ce n'est pas facile. Ce n'est pas facile, but you just have to do it. If you started, then you have to continue. Tell yourself that I must continue, because you know at the back of your mind, you know what motivated you to start in the first place. I know sometimes it could be difficult, we want to give up, but each time you want to give up on learning French language, remember the reason why you started in the first place. If you can remember the reason why you started the language journey in the first place, then you want to continue. Also, anytime motivation fails, remember discipline is always there. So try your best, even when your motivation is no longer motivating you. Try your best to tell yourself that you have to be disciplined. You tell yourself that even if it looks uneasy, you must know French. It's a matter of mindset. Fall in love with the language. If you can fall in love with the language, I promise you, you will learn French in an easy manner. How do you make it easy? Fall in love with it. Stay with French every day. Play games in French. Read books in French. The more you read story books, the more you read life stories in French. If your interest is about finance, if your interest is about football, read it in French language. Anything you love doing, do it in French language. Just to be consistent, you just have to be consistent in the language. If you can be consistent in the language, even 6 months is enough for you to master French. I can tell you of a truth that knowing the language is all about interest. If you don't have interest in it, you just keep on spending money. Spending, and then you're not seeing result in yourself. The fourth is because you're not consistent. The reason is because you're not consistent. So you try your best to be consistent. Consistency beats any other thing. Consistency is the key. I can tell you of a fact that one can be in a French-speaking environment and still not know French. Why? Because either the person doesn't have interest in French, and there will be another person that doesn't even reside in a French-speaking environment and the person knows French. Why? It's a matter of interest, because French is not something you study. French is something you do total immersion. Immerse yourself in the language, fall in love with it, learn it. Before you know it, you're grounded in it. You're a pro. You're a master in French. You love the language. Trust me, you're going to love the language. The language is very, very easy. You just need to fall in love with it. Don't learn it as though you're being forced to do it. Learn it that I love this language. I want to know it. I want to know this language because I love it. So do this, and trust me, you're going to have a smooth French language learning journey. You're going to be a pro at the end. So we've come to the end of today's class. Guess what? I enjoyed learning French tips with you today. So for more lessons, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you next time. Au revoir.